Welcome to a brand new episode of Heaven and Hell at 43. 43 love stories from other people, showing how God has impacted their lives in various ways with his love. Now, today's story is from my friend Craig. Now, Craig and I have known each other for maybe a year or so, a couple of years, and come across each other in different groups. But back at the start of this year, the start of 2021, I had the privilege of working with Craig and with him as my coach, and it was amazing. It was the best start to 2021. If ever you, over the last little while, if ever you've been encouraged by anything that I've shared, you do in some way have Craig to thank for that, because as a result of working with him, I was able to get clearer on the direction that God was leading me, and even have more of those conversations with Holy Spirit about doing business. So it is with a great pleasure and delight that I bring you Craig's story, and I'm sure it will be a blessing and encouragement to you. With that said, let's hand straight over to Craig.
Hey everyone. So today the story I want to share about where God just kind of met me and impacted me actually has to do with my business and my work and the way I actually show up with people. I have so many stories that actually was really hard to pick one because God's so loving, and just even reflecting on this, just being able to see where he's worked in my life. So I hope it inspires you and just lets you connect with him more. But I just remember this was years ago, but I was working on a project that it was one of those things where it was like the kind of work that you just do to get a paycheck. But I didn't want to do it. It took me away from my family. It was stuff that I wasn't even really interested in. And it was just something that I just took out of a knee-jerk reaction because I was like, I need to provide. I need to. There was a lot of eyes in it. But over the course of several weeks, it was just one of those projects that just grinded me down. It ate away at everything that I loved, my creativity, my time with my family, just rest, everything. It was super long. It was like 17-hour days. It was one of those things where like I finally just hit rock bottom. Like my communication wasn't going well. The way I was connecting with people on the job wasn't going well. It was a thing that just was draining me from the inside out. And I remember just hitting this place of almost like rock bottom. And I was just sitting on this bed in a hotel room. I was just like, God, like I need something different. Like I've been trying to do what you've told me to do. I always invited him, into what I was doing, but I just needed something new. And I've just, for whatever reason, felt a nudge to open up the Uverse app and open up to a specific like Bible study, and just started reading it. And it was as if he had the person write that for me. And it was in this moment where I was able just to kind of sit and hear from God and just get clarity. And he just let me know that I wasn't alone, that he knew what I was going through, he knew what I needed. And he took me through this process over the next couple years, from just opening that Bible app and sitting with him and letting him shine away, but letting him come in and reveal himself in a new way to me. And then he just revealed the fact that he is not only the God in my personal life, but he is the God in my business life. And I grew up in church, and I know all the Christianese and all of that stuff really well, but this was like there was always this disconnect between God and me working. And he brought in a way that fused those together and really revealed to me what was on his heart for the giftings he's given me, how he wanted me to use them. And he even just showed up so big. He provided a way for me to join a community. He gave me a mentor, someone who walked out this thing with me for almost a year. Like he took me through this amazing journey, and it really was so much more than I ever thought I needed. Like I knew I needed something new, and I just needed something to change, but I didn't know everything I needed. But when I allowed him to come in and to reveal that to me, to just be open instead of saying, okay, God, here's what I think I need, and I need you to do this. I just showed up and said, God, I need something. What does that look like? Like, I need you to do all of the moving in this because what I've been doing isn't working. And so once I just let my hands go and I let him in fully, it was something that was utterly life-changing and life-shattering. It like shattered the old way I would do things. And now when I show up, for work, when I show up to use these, I don't know, skills and abilities and these things that God's given me, I get to fully show up and use that. And it just, looking back, that process made me feel so loved. Like the fact that he knew what I needed. He knew I would have this breaking point, and he was waiting for me to finally just invite him into that, rather than trying to push through it on my own, rather than just trying to, just keep my head down, move forward. It was this thing where I just showed up and said, God, I need you. And it was almost like this, like, finally, like, I've been waiting on you, even though you think you've been waiting on me. And he showed up fully prepared and provided more than I could have ever have thought or imagined, which was an amazing learning experience on its own, to not put those limits on him. So the way he showed up for me in that moment of just brokenness, and to let me know that he was with me through every single step, and was, trying to guide me as best that I would let him. But it's just when that, immovable object, hits collides, I can be pretty hard-headed. And so in that moment, I just let go of all of that and was able to meet him, and he met me. And just, he showed me that I didn't mess up, I haven't ruined anything, and he was so excited that I met him there. So that's what I want to leave you with. Just, it doesn't matter where you're at or what you feel like or how much you feel like you've messed up. He is the ultimate God of restoration, and he is just sitting, waiting for that moment where he can come into your life and show himself in a new way.
One of the themes we keep hearing over and over again through everybody's different stories that are incredibly unique, but the one thread that keeps tying them all together is a God who loves people where they are at, meeting their needs. And Craig's story, as you've heard, is no exception to that. So if you know somebody who would benefit from hearing Craig's version of God's love story. So that's the reminder from this. There are lots of different love stories because we are all different people. So you might know somebody who would benefit from hearing the real tangible way that God met Craig's need. So please do share this episode of the podcast with whoever that might be. And if you'd like to find out more about what Craig's doing, it's really exciting, I'd encourage you to go to thebrainunstuck.com. I shall put a link in the show notes as well. He is on Facebook, very infrequently, but so I'll find those links and put those in as well. But really, I'd encourage you to check out what he's doing. He's got a delightful community that he's building, where several times a month now we get to meet and do life together in community. So it might be that, because as some of you know, I do community too. We've got the Itchy Soul Playground. The really wonderful thing that God is doing is he's creating community in lots of different circumstances and lots of different contexts for different people. So there'll be people who maybe follow along with the podcast and they're like, yeah, I'm not quite sure if the Itchy Soul Playground is for me. It might be that the Brain Unstuck is for you, or maybe both is for you. But my point is, there is no competition. There is no, if I was going to do this from a human perspective, I shouldn't promote Craig's community because otherwise people might join that and then they won't join mine. And no, there is no competition, because God's love is meeting people where they're at. And I firmly believe that people are brought into our lives for a season. And so I would encourage you, go to thebrainunstuck.com, find out more about what Craig is doing. It is exciting. And if you feel like it's the place for you, go and join his community, because it's brilliant. In the meantime, of course, thank you for allowing me to share these stories with you. Thank you for following along. And I look forward to sharing the next story with you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.